G'day guys, Skits here, and welcome to my second Moab. And this is a Moab that I wanted to make a video dedicated to kind of talking about tips, and it's something that I don't do too often. But today I did want to make a tips related video. I know this Moab isn't that good, and as with my first Moab, it's not the best Moab you'll ever see, but still, you know, it's still a 24 kill streak, and for me that's pretty decent. And I was playing pretty well this game. I thought there were certain things that I thought I really wanted to show in this gameplay, and I thought it would be a good video just to talk about tips. So as I said, it isn't the best Moab, so just keep that in mind. The players kind of sucked. I did get a bit lucky at times, but I want to give you guys a basic, simple guide on getting a Moab, and this is one of the easiest ways. This was my second gameplay with this strategy, and as you can see from the bottom right, I'm using no specialist whatsoever. This is all with support. This is probably the easiest strategy for me personally. I've died so many times, like one off with specialist, and support for me is just so much easier. So, and I'll go through the strategy. So let's just go through the gun class I'm using. So I'm using Scavenger Pro because personally I think that is 100% necessary, because you need to be able to pick up enemies' bullets, because it's really important that you can keep the same gun you're using. Often enemies will be using weird guns, and you don't want to be picking them up. So it's really important that you're using Scavenger Pro. And I'm also using Hardline Pro and Stalker Pro. And Hardline Pro is obviously good just because you can get your kill streaks really fast, and it's really good because as soon as you've gotten your ballistic vest, you can start again and get, you know, more kill streaks, more, you know, a whole new set of UAV and ballistic vests. And it's really important to use a gun you're comfortable with. As you can see, I'm using the ACR with 2 attachments, extend mags, and silencer, and really it's just whatever gun you're comfortable with. For me personally, I think the ACR and the SCAR are my 2 favorite guns. They're basically just 2 monsters, and basically if you want to get a Moab, you need to use a gun that you're comfortable with. Don't use guns that you feel you need to use, and basically that's the main setup you want to use. You want to be using only 2 kill streaks of support, and that is UAV and ballistic vests. And the reason for that is that you'll want to be cycling through them as fast as you can. And honestly guys, I want to go over just how important it is to have UAVs and ballistic vests up. Okay, firstly, ballistic vests are good for your team. A lot of people don't realize that they are just so important to have, especially when going for a Moab, because it's really the difference between winning gunfights, one-on-one gunfights, and losing them. And really, it's basically like adding Juggernaut from COD 5, if you guys remember, and COD 4. It basically just gives you way more health, and it's really important you have more health. And as you can see just there, in fact, this is a great example of me. I would have died just then if had it not been for the vests. And as you can see now, I can just put a new one down and just put it back on. And the UAV is so important. The reason that I always fail getting Moabs is just because I don't know where the enemy team is, and having basically a constant UAV up is so helpful. And that's why I would definitely recommend you use those kill streaks. It's not only is it really beneficial and satisfying to get Moabs, it's really fun using this setup because you won't get too frustrated. I know the other team are going to get really frustrated because honestly, the ballistic vests are pretty overpowered. They're pretty ridiculously good because honestly, having more health in a gunfight is so important. So it basically is the difference between winning a gunfight and losing a gunfight. And to compare this to Specialist, although it is great having all the perks, I mean, it basically makes you feel superhuman. But the thing is, having ballistic vests and UAVs up is so ridiculously useful. Like, I can just keep on putting ballistic vests down, I can keep on getting more and more health. It just gets to the point where you're basically unbeatable, and it just becomes ridiculously fun. Now, for me, one of the most important ways to get Moabs and the most important strategies and just tips that you guys should really try and work on, especially if you're an average player and struggling to get Moabs, is just knowing where to be and where to move around and knowing spawns. I reckon that's basically the #1 ways of getting Moabs, because it really doesn't matter if you're that good at this game, especially with this strategy, because you'll win most gunfights just because of the ballistic vests, and it's so important that you know where they're spawning. And as you can see at the moment, it's ridiculous. And I'm just going to mute my microphone here for a second, just mute the commentary for a bit. I want to show you guys this guy who was like really making me really nervous because he was on the mic, so I'll just mute my mic for a second here just so you can get an idea of how I was like in the game.
Kill confirmed. Finish race.
Oh, go Skits! Go Skits, 21-0.
So yeah, you get the idea. This kid was really making me sort of nervous at this point because I'm like, okay, I only need like 3 or 4 more kills, and this kid's really not helping me out at all. But anyway, yeah, I think one of the most important things to note is just to know where you're going, where the spawns are. Also having the right mindset. For me, I always die one off just because I'm like, okay, I'm going to choke here and I'm going to die. I get really sweaty, and I'm not even joking. I know that sounds so nerdy, and I die one off. It's just the most annoying thing. I mean, you really need to get lucky in certain points as well. I mean, you need to get a pretty horrible other team to be able to get an easy Moab. You also need to get, you know, a lot of confidence and luck going your way. I mean, there's a lot of things that getting mobs, for getting mobs that are just really hard. But really, these players are pretty average, and it really did help out that these players weren't that good at all. As you can see, there's several points throughout this gameplay where the ballistic vest did save me, and where I could have really easily died if these players were good. But nonetheless, as you can see right here, I pick it up, and I was just relieved. I got so much pressure just put off me as soon as I called that in. As you can see, that's only my second Moab, but you guys can probably expect heaps more, because at the moment I'm finding them so much easier ever since this new strategy. So anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys all later, and hopefully I really helped you out. See you later.